Welcome to Study Life. In today's session on mechanical properties of fluids, we are going to talk about thrust and pressure. What is thrust? What is pressure? In order to understand this, let's take a very tiny example. Let me consider a container and let me fill some water inside this container. This is my container and I am going to add some water into this. Very simple, very easy. Now let me just draw a hole in here. There's a tiny little hole. As per what we can see, that water flows out of it. Very simple. You might say, sir, this is because of gravity. Gravity pulls the water down, and since there is a hole, the water is supposed to go down. Agreed. Let's draw a hole in here. In this direction, I don't think gravity works that good, but still water flows out of it. Let me draw a hole over this side. Again, water will flow out of this. How do you explain this story? How do you explain? The gravity wasn't acting this way. Gravity wasn't acting that way. Gravity was only acting downwards. So gravity is no longer the part of the rule. What works in here? In here, what works is called as thrust. What is thrust? You understand that within the container, within this container, there's this liquid over here exerts force in all the directions. Exerts force in all the directions, and this kind of explains me one more important question. You might have already experienced this. You have a rubber ball, or maybe it is a plastic ball, or maybe it is just some tennis ball. Okay, you take this tennis ball and you try to dive it into this container. Until you keep applying forces, the ball is inside the container. The very moment you remove your hand, the ball pops up. The ball comes upwards. Why does it come up to the surface? Some might call the answer to this as density, but no. The ball was inside, so density is not the working principle. There is something more. It's again thrust. What is thrust basically? It's the normal force. It is the normal force that the liquid applies on all sides of the container. On all sides of the container. This is thrust. So technically thrust is nothing but a modification to force. Just a force acting on the sides of a container. Correct? Okay. Is this only on the side of the container? No. It's with every surface that is in contact. Even if it is a ball. Even if it is a ball, there's an upward force thrust acting over here. There's an upward force thrust that is acting over here. The thrust is nothing but my expression for force. So accordingly, the unit also is supposed to be Newton. The unit also is supposed to be Newton. And the dimensions, if I talk about dimensions, the dimensions are as simple as m to the power 1, L to the power minus 1, T to the power minus 2. I'm so sorry, it's L to the power plus 1. It's m to the power 1, L to the power 1, T to the power minus 2. That is very much similar to what force is. Now let's talk about pressure. Let's take our time and let's understand something we call as pressure. To understand pressure, I want you people to do an experiment in your home right now. Take a piece of paper. Take a piece of paper and start punching the piece of paper with good force, with very nice force. Okay? You understand that the piece of paper shows no distortion. It shows no distortion. Like the only thing is the paper gets crooked. The paper doesn't tear up. It doesn't rupture in the middle. But now let's do an experiment. Take a pin. Take a basic pin and apply the same force on the piece of paper with the pin. You see that there is a hole in there. The paper now tears. Why does this happen? The force applied in both the cases was same. But the point of action in the case of a punch was a larger area. Was basically a larger area, and when it was a pin, it was just a very tiny area. So the force in case of a punch was distributed over this big area, but when it was about a pin, was distributed on a very tiny area, and hence the force in case of a pin was more concentrated as compared to that of a punch. Correct? So now you understand that this force somehow relates with the area in work. Correct? So pressure, if you talk about pressure, pressure is nothing but force acting per unit area of cross section. Per unit area of cross section. And if I decide to calculate the unit, the unit of pressure is Newton per meter square. The unit of pressure is Newton per meter square, or it is going to be Dian per centimeter square. Very simple and very easy in fact. If I talk about pressure, a few more things. What are the different units for this? Yes, Newton per meter square can also be expressed as pascals. Apart from pascals, PASCALS, apart from pascals, there are various different units that work for pressure, like the standard unit that is generally used. This is not the SI system units, but this is a standard general unit that is used for a lot of cases. 1 atmosphere. What is 1 atmosphere? That is basically the amount of pressure that the atmosphere above our head exerts on us. All the atmosphere that is above us, it exerts some amount of pressure. This pressure is called as 1 atmosphere. And if I calculate this using barometer, I understand that it is 1.01325 into 10 to the power 5 Newton per meter square. This can also be expressed as 1.013 into 10 to the power 5 pascals. Newton per meter square is same as pascals. I just decided to not consider this 25 over here. That's it. Nothing more important and nothing more different. Okay. From here, I also get this idea that there is something very important with this 10 to the power 5 Newton per meter square. And hence comes the next unit, 1 bar. 1 bar is basically equal to 10 to the power 5 Newton per meter square, or that is also equal to 10 to the power 5 pascals. So this is another unit of pressure that you should always know. Okay. Do we have any other unit of pressure? Yes. 1 atmosphere can also be related as 760 millimeters of mercury. 760 millimeters of mercury. Why is mercury coming into play? Why is mercury now coming into action? Let's understand this. The device that is used to measure pressure is called as barometer. A barometer works very much similar to what a thermometer works. What is the case of a thermometer? There is a mercury column, and with rise in temperature, the mercury column also rises. A similar scenario operates in barometer. What happens in the barometer? There is a mercury column, and with rise in pressure, the mercury column rises. The mercury column rises. That is what happens in a barometer. This is what happens in a barometer. I suppose we have now understood the story of a bar, atmosphere, the barometer, the Newton per meter square, the definition to pressure, and the meaning to force. So with that in mind, I would love to conclude this session. In our later sessions, we'll be discussing a lot about fluids. But until then, stay tuned with Study Live and keep learning with me. Thank you.